Schön. Ich höre das Meer. Ja, ich bin ja immerhin und herzlich willkommen zu der Beginners Guide. Also der Startführer, Einleitung, irgendwas, keine Ahnung. Ähm, von den Machern der Stanley-Parabel. Ja, ich wette, das wird sehr interessant, es wird sehr witzig und es gibt sogar Kapitel. Intro, Oktober 2008. Na gut, dann Spiel starten. Machen wir mal. Audio ist an. Okay, ja.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff.
Wartet mal kurz. Weiter, dieses Level überspringen. Nein, Option. Nein. Okay, kann weitergehen.
And his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just
Wartet mal, habe ich das jetzt Level? Nein, Option. Komplette Untertitelung. Untertitelung, komplette Untertitelung. Ich habe es eigentlich auf Kopfhörer, aber Kopfhörer. Ich lasse es mal so. Die wissen schon, die wissen das schon. Das.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Und damit nochmal herzlich willkommen zu Beginners Guide. Wir sind im Jahr 2008, im November oder so. Ich finde das jetzt schon sehr faszinierend. Das habe ich mir auch bei Stanley Parable gefragt. Was hat der Kerl sich dabei gedacht? Na gut, er wird jetzt sicher gleich wieder anfangen zu quatschen. Ja gut, dann... Gott sei Dank ist es auf Deutsch. Ah! Oh!
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Um Gottes Willen, hier kriege ich einen Herzinfarkt. Achtung, Flüstermaschine aktiv. Sofort evakuieren. Die Flüstermaschine ist aktiv.
You can click to fire the gun.
Achso. Nett. Welche Richtung sieht gut aus? Stimmt die. Ich komme hier nicht lang. Alter, das hat mich mitgenommen. Aha, okay, ausgezeichnet. Ich will nicht erschreckt werden. Ja, okay, also man...
Security call reached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
Bitte?
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere.
Gott sei Dank.
You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Okay, ich gehe da lang.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Okay. Okay. Wunderbar. Dies, meine Kinder, ist das Universum. Da unten endet es. Ha! Mr. Fleck, jetzt habe ich Ihnen gezeigt, wo das Ende des Universums ist. Das ist einfach eine Barriere. Ha! Das kann nur Mr. Fleck wissen, was ich jetzt gerade gemeint habe. Das sind 3 Punkte. Man kann die Waffe nicht mal nachladen, wenn sie leert. Wunderbar. Och nein. Wollt ihr mich ver...
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Wow! Ach, wir sollten es einfach überspringen.
Or if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Ja! Nein, lieber nicht. Nein, danke. Wir akzeptieren, dass er meint, dass wir es lieber überspringen sollten.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Tja, warum nicht? Also ein Wärmekörper, ich bin es ja. Ich bin eigentlich ja, warum nicht? Und ach, was soll's.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Aha.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Ja, das verstehe ich. Ich kann mich nur nicht...
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
So eine Scheiße. Ich kann nur rückwärts gehen. Ach, so ein Dreck. Die Vergangenheit lag hinter ihr, aber sie lief immer weiter rückwärts.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment
my
combining
God.
motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Tja, gute Frage. Warum? Passiert hier nochmal was? Oh! Ach so. Ja. Wenn sie stehen bleibt und sich umsieht, wird es klarer. Wow. Aber wenn die Zukunft immer hinter ihr liegt, wie soll sie dann die Kraft finden, sich ihr zu stellen?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Der erschreckt mich, wenn er anfängt zu reden. Oh nein. Nein. Wie ich es hasse. Es gibt nichts, was ich mehr hasse. Ah. Kann ich eigentlich... Nein, natürlich nicht. Nein, nein, nein. Nein!
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Dezember 2008.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Was will man machen? Ich kann nicht rennen. Ich mache das extra. Ich laufe jetzt extra einfach mal vollkommen falsch.
I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Verdammt! Das liebe ich an den Macher der Stanley-Parabel. Der denkt an alles. Dass der Kerl, dass man einfach mal hier lang gehen will, um mal zu gucken, was ist da? Hier muss doch irgendwas sein. Und der sagt einfach, ich weiß, es ist verlockend, aber es ist hier nichts. Schatten. Es ist gar nichts. Das ist eine lange Treppe, die irgendwo hinführt und das war's. Und ich finde den sympathisch. Ich finde den Macher der Stanley-Parabel sympathisch. Das ist wirklich netter Kerl. Sehr netter Kerl. Ja, dann laufen wir mal hier hoch, ne? Nee, ich zähle jetzt nicht. Nee, nee. Nein, ich werde...
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay, enter. Danke.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Du baust eine Mauer, die Mauer wird zerstört als eine Medaille.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Du läufst herum und redest Leuten ihre Träume und Hoffnungen aus. Du bist eine Tür. Du beginnst in einem kleinen Raum zu lesen, dann ist plötzlich alles weg. Auf die Fische, fertig, los. Ich würde mal sagen, hier beende ich mal die Folge. Ich freue mich. Also das Spiel ist super. Das Spiel ist super und ich hoffe, ihr bleibt mir treu, um weiter zu entdecken, wie es weitergeht. Wow, das war ein Satz, der war wirklich toll. Ich wünsche noch einen schönen guten Abend oder guten Morgen oder wann auch immer ihr dieses Video seht und sage ciao, ihr im